So how about that time that guy drank an entire cup of bacteria to prove his idea wasn't crazy? I'm telling that story next. Hey, it's Don Skaggs, again with Empowered Inventing TV, where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing that with sound wisdom, so you can turn them into real things like products and businesses that make money. Now, we have sort of a tongue-in-cheek rule at the workshops that we do at the Inventors Network Kentucky. If you go to kyinventors.org and you become a member, it gives you access into what's called our workshop. We do different meetings, all month, as a lot of you already know. But one of these meetings is an insular meeting. It's members only, and we all come in and we all work under a closed non-disclosure agreement. We go around the room, introduce everybody, we go around the room again, and everybody gets to talk about, this is what I have, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm stuck. Turns into a brainstorming session. It's one of our more popular meetings that we do, and it's a really, really great meeting. It's a way to learn. It's a way to be accountable to other people. It's all those things. But we've got this little tongue-in-cheek rule that if you come in to our workshop and claim to have invented a time machine, you are required to demonstrate said time machine by taking us all for a short trip to check out tomorrow's lottery numbers. Now, if you can do that, then hey, we're good to go. But if you're going to claim that, you got to be able to prove it. And that's the kind of the gist behind the joke. Is if you are going to if you are going to predict something, or say I have an idea for something, you say I've invented this thing, and it's pretty outlandish. It's pretty big. Then yeah, you've got to be able to prove it. And even with everyone's invention, we always say there's, when you prototype it, you write it down on paper, and that's one of the first things you do in idea steps that we teach. But when you get to the prototype stage, you break that into two different things. One is you build what we call the Franken Type. And that's where you've snug out to the graveyard of broken products and spare parts. And you've used glue sticks and duct tape. And the result is an invention that is a prototype that's so ugly that only an inventor could love it. It's really ugly, but you've proved that it works to yourself, and you've not spent a lot of money. But you see, you're proving it. The Franken Type proves it to you. Then you've got it moving and humming and running, and now you build what's called the demo type. And the demo type is going to be the one where you are proving it to other people. That's the one you pretty it up. You've already got functionality down pat. Now you're just going to make it, gussy it up, make it real, real pretty, so you can show it to other people and prove to them that it works. But you got to prove that it works. You got to prove that it works to you, and you got to prove that it works to other people. So this was kind of the case for Barry Marshall. If you've never heard the name Barry Marshall, Barry had a different idea. It wasn't time travel. His idea involved ulcers. So prior to Barry's discovery, it was wildly believed that ulcers were caused by stress, spicy food, too much stomach acid. And that's still widely held, and a lot of people think that's still today. But what happened, and this was like the early 1980s that this happened. Marshall discovered, he found that the bacteria H. pylori was present in every one of his ulcer patients. But Marshall faced opposition to this radical idea. The medical community called this a wild theory. This is crazy. And you got to remember, this was 1982. And the established medical community would not accept this. And, he was trying to figure out ways to prove it. And he knew it would just take a very, very long time. And he tried animal models, and that didn't work out really well. But he knew that with humans, that there was something about the H. pylori bacteria that was causing these ulcers. He just knew that. So knowing that he was right, on June the 12th, 1984, Marshall chugged a glass full of H. pylori bacterium. And a few days later, he developed ulcers for the first time in his life. Then he treated himself with antibiotics, and he was soon fully cured. So making history. So I always thought that was a very, very interesting story, and it's almost like something out of a science fiction movie or something. You know, you'd almost think that, okay, he's drank this and now he's going to develop superpowers. You know, if movies have taught us anything, that's supposed to happen, right? But no, he did not. He did not become a supervillain or a superhero, and he did become a hero in a way, because the way they were treating this disease, ulcers, prior to 1984, was drugs and sometimes surgery that cut out part of your stomach. And he was like, hey, antibiotics and they go away. So this was a big deal. So anyway, of course, there's things that we can learn as inventors and entrepreneurs from this. And one is, by the way, this was quite the wow moment. And you always have to have a wow moment. Now, I'm not saying drink bacteria or something on that level of danger to prove your idea. But I'm saying you should have some kind of wow moment, something that is going to get people's attention, make them look up from whatever hardened belief that they're in, whatever hardened system of this is the way we've always done it. And medical communities are very, very much that way, by the way. I know that from being in the working in the medical community for decades. I remember one time we had this, and not to get off on kind of a really, really strange technical story, but there was this this product that we were making, and we were using a formula that was developed by from the Biological Stain Commission. Which actually, that's a thing. There's a thing called the Biological Stain Commission. They would like stain these slides and with this product called stains. And so anyway, the ingredients was like, I don't know, 10 times the amount of the saturation point. So it would always fall out of the solution, and it'd be like it's like putting too much sugar in the water, and it can't take sugar anymore, and so it just starts settling in the bottom. This was sort of the same thing, except it was stain ingredients. But anyway, I remember us calling the Biological Stain Commission and them saying, us asking, why, is there a reason? And their answer was, no, this is the way we've always done it, since this 100-year-old formula, 150-year-old formula, which that's the way it's always done. And a lot of people have that mindset of, well, that's the way it's always done. There couldn't possibly be a new way to do it. Well, that's where innovators like you come up with new ideas. But those great new ideas, you got to be able to prove it. You got to be able to prove it to them. And sometimes a wow moment will get their attention and say, oh, well, I guess he did figure out that ulcers can be treated with antibiotics. So wow moments are, it's turning a big idea into a game changer. And in turning a big idea into a game changer does provide proof. It sure can be wow. It can be, really, really, almost a circus kind of moment where you really get their attention. But you've got to have that proof in it. It's got to have that hardened, real proof inside. So again, you're building that Franken Type. You're proving it to yourself. Marshall, he had evidence. That was his Franken Type. He knew from his patient population, he knew that was right from that proof, but he didn't. But not enough proof to prove it to other people. So it was kind of like a Franken Type. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but yes, I think so. Secondly, you prove it to other people. That's your demo type. Marshall had to do something daring enough to prove it to the medical community, and that's what he did. I don't think reading the story, I don't think his wife was too pleased with it. He kind of did it and then told her he didn't. He asked forgiveness instead of permission, but she wasn't too happy with the fact that he did that, but nevertheless, the rest is history. So this was a big idea with a lot of pushback. but yet he overcame it with one thing, and that one thing was proof. So, can you prove that your big idea works to yourself? Are you prepared to prove it to other people? Let me know in the comments. And for more information on proving your idea, you do want to sign up for Empowered Inventing Academy's course called Do I Have the Next $1 Million Idea? And that's at empoweredinventing.com. You can sign up for that now. We'll let you know when it's ready. I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing TV. Like, subscribe, help us to build our tribe, and I'll look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, online course, or on the next video.